Andrea, you just got back from a huge reunion. Now, Andrea's always been telling me that she has these huge family reunions, and so it's located down south somewhere. So
Yes.
why don't you tell about it?
In North Carolina, we have it every year. That's where our family originated. My grandparents and their grandparents and all of that. So in Creedmoor, North Carolina.
You have how many ministers probably in your family?
Oh gosh, I don't even know how many, but
Comes time to bless the food, is there like, who's going to do it?
well, yeah, it's on the program.
So you had to schedule it.
Yeah, well, we have a program at our family reunion.
Oh,
and
it's
so,
very organized, sounds like.
Well, yeah, after so many years. And we were trying to figure out this time how many years we've been doing it, and we don't know.
And how many people show up, did you say?
So it's about 100. My mom is number 13 of 16 siblings.
Woo!
I know. Same parents.
And what do you enjoy most about it?
I love listening to the stories. I love hearing my aunts and uncles all talk about the old times and stuff. 3 relatives that are 90 and above. So yeah.
They have a lot of stories.
Yes.
And are they willing to share those?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, this time we've started to get even more serious, and they decided to share what it was like living under Jim Crow laws. You know, so people told stories about, you know, how they couldn't get into the movie theater, or how you were not allowed to pass, if you're driving, you can't pass a white person in your car, no matter how slowly they're driving.
Oh my
or
gosh.
else you'd be in trouble for speeding or something like that. And then, you know, the Klan and how that was, and knowing that people were part of the Klan, and just all the different things.
Now, did that affect your family at all, as far as, I mean, were people
They're the ones telling the stories. Oh, I see.
Like that?
They know people who were lynched. I don't think any of my relatives were lynched. Close.
Wow.
But not.
And what were the
there.
stories behind that?
It's usually just a regular thing. Somebody thinks somebody is uppity or smart talking or eye contact or, like I said, passing somebody.
Could do anything like that. Anything that you wouldn't think of today that would be offensive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a cousin who experienced going from, he went from Washington, D.C. to North Carolina. Wherever he went, it was north to south. And he said on the train, when he left, it was like a mixed car, black and white. But then when they hit the, I guess, Mason-Dixon line, all the black folks left because they couldn't be in a car with white people. So we have that kind of stuff. And
you had mentioned to me prior how the naming of some men in your family is kind of unusual. How? Oh
yeah, because in the South,
because of the Jim Crow laws.
Yeah, they people didn't call men by their last name. Well, white folks. It was disrespectful, but they would call them always by their first name. And even if it was like some young kid would call you Kevin, and you know you're like 70, and so the way
I'm not 70.
So the way they did it was they would name a person Mr. or Doctor or Major, and that would be their name, so that they would be called by that kind of a name. So I have an uncle that was named Major. We called him Uncle Ben. I didn't know that his name was Major. I have another great uncle whose name was Doctor.
Wow,
so
that's amazing. I mean, you think back now on those kind of times, I mean, it seems so far back, you know.
No, it doesn't feel...
No? You still see those kind of things happening, right?
Yeah, you do.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the South or everywhere?
Actually, everywhere. You know, some things you get used to, and some things you try to change, and some things...
Yeah. You were mentioning that you have... You know, your family always gets together and laughs about the old times and stories and things like that. Do you have any that you remember that stick out in your mind? My
aunts and uncles were talking about somebody they knew that, and it started with like that my Aunt Ludi, who had been a teacher, had taught this person, and they were saying, "Oh wait, didn't she marry this other person? No, I think that was somebody else that married her. Well, wasn't she originally I don't know, like this last name?" And they said, "No, I think she was that last." And I kid you not, it was 45 minutes
before they figured it out.
Going around of who this person was, who she married,
Oh
what happened to her husband, what her last name was. No, wasn't it? No, it was that one. No, that was the person that married that. No, it was
remember they were neighbors,
and it was like 45 minutes. And then by the time they got around, so what was the original question and what was
that happens? That happens in our family too. That's funny.
Yeah, it was like, oh gosh. And then so now I know what her original last name was, and something happened to her husband, and I still don't know the connection with the other name that they brought up.
So the genealogist in your family was like going, oh, oh, it's that.
It wasn't even part of our family because at one point somebody said, were they related to us? No, I don't think they were. I was like, oh, wow.